Hi, my name's Hunter, and I'll be presenting the power of wealth in America and how wealthy elites shape society. Throughout American history, a small group of wealthy individuals have wielded outsized power. From John D. Rockefeller's oil empire to J.P. Morgan's financial dominance to Larry Fink's modern day influence through BlackRock, these figures have shaped industries and the very rules we all live by. Why does this matter? Because when a few people control so much, democracy is threatened. Decisions affecting billions can come down to a billionaire or a powerful CEO. If this trend continues, we risk losing our voice in society, becoming little more than workers for a new kind of economic dictator. I started thinking about this when I noticed companies across different industries suddenly adopting the same strategies. After digging deeper, I found that massive shareholders like BlackRock, managing over $10 trillion worth of assets, were behind these shifts. But this pattern of wealth driven control isn't new, it's been a part of American story since the beginning. Starting with John D. Rockefeller, the founder of Standard Oil. By the late 1800s, Rockefeller had built a monopoly that controlled nearly every aspect of the oil industry, using aggressive tactics like buying out competitors, cutting secret railroad deals, and crushing anyone who stood in his way. This monopoly power wasn't just about business. When workers at Rockefeller owned mine went on strike for better conditions, the conflict escalated into the Ludlow Massacre, where dozens of miners and their families died. Rockefeller denied responsibility, insisting that authorities weren't to blame, despite evidence contradicting that. Rockefeller's empire stifled competition, dictated prices, and left ordinary Americans at the mercy of a single corporation. His story is a powerful example in what started monopolies in the first place and how they can be used to dominate not just markets but people's lives. Moving on to J.P. Morgan and the Panic of 1907. Morgan's bank bailed out the U.S. government, showing just how central his influence had become. A congressional investigation revealed that Morgan had a handful of associates, controlled at least 18 major financial corporations, with resources totaling billions unimaginable. Oh, that's a typo. Totaling billions. Morgan's own words revealed how personal his power was. As he was quoted saying in the congressional hearing, "I never loaned money on security, no matter how perfect or valuable, unless I knew the borrowers personally or had individual knowledge that satisfied me." In other words, Morgan could reward friends and punish rivals, deciding who gets access to capital based needs on personal connections rather than merit or any sort of financial backing or need. This gatekeeping allowed Morgan and his allies to shape the economy to their advantage, reinforcing the power of a tiny elite. Moving on to Larry Fink. Ooh, whoops. Moving on to Larry Fink and modern day corporate influence. CEO of BlackRock. BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager, controlling over $10 trillion, as said before, more than the GDP of many countries. And some of the things that he has done to control modern day influences are his annual letters as they shape corporate strategies across the globe. BlackRock uses its massive voting power at holder, holder meetings to pressure companies into adopting policies it favors, especially around sustainability and climate risk. If a company doesn't comply, BlackRock threatens to vote against its board or even divest entirely. For example, BlackRock has exited investments in thermal coal producers, forcing entire industries to rethink their business models. This isn't just about environment, it's about the one firm using its financial clout to dictate the direction of entire industries, often without public debate or accountability. All right. The evolution of wealth's influence. The tools of influence have changed, but the outcome remains the same. In the Gilded Age, monopolies like Standard Oil Company dominated physical industries, steels, railroads. Today, financial giants like BlackRock dominate through control of capital and corporate governance. How has society responded? In the early 20th century, antitrust laws broke up monopolies like Standard Oil. Banking regulations attempted to rein in financial cartels after the Panic of 1907. Today, shareholder activism and calls for corporate responsibility are supposed to keep firms like BlackRock in check, but the reality is these measures often fall short. The wealthy adapt, finding new ways to maintain their influence. So, why should you care? Because this isn't just history, it's happening right now. When a handful of wealthy individuals and corporations have the power to shape politics, markets, and even public opinion, the voice of the common man gets drowned out. Antitrust laws, financial regulations, and shareholder activism have all tried to address the imbalance, but the core problem remains too much power in too few of hands. Has enough been done to stop this? Or have we just let the wealthy amass even more control over our lives? That's a question we all need to answer. History shows us that unchecked wealth leads to unchecked power. From Rockefeller's oil monopoly to Morgan's banking cartel to BlackRock's financial empire, the story is the same. A few people making decisions for everybody. If we want a fairer future, we need to learn from the past. That means demanding transparency, supporting stronger regulations, and making sure that no one, no matter how rich, can control the fate of billions. What do you think? Have we done enough to rein in the power, or is it a time for a new approach?